Hi everyone, so Xiaomi has just released this phone, the Redmi 13C, and this is one of the cheapest 5G smartphones that you can buy right now. Its price starts at 11,000 rupees for the base 4128GB variant, while the 6128GB and 8256GB options cost 12,500 and 14,500 rupees respectively. By the way, you can also get a 4G variant of this phone, which is much cheaper but comes with a downgraded Helio G85 chipset. Anyway, if you remember, Xiaomi also launched a budget 5G phone a few months ago, the Redmi 12, and they also launched the Poco M6 Pro. They are slightly more expensive than the Redmi 13C, but they were quite successful models from Xiaomi. These two models actually did help Xiaomi revive their market share in India, and with the Redmi 13C, I think Xiaomi can slowly build up its reputation in offering that value in the budget segment as we used to see before. It's definitely not going to be as value for money as we used to see like 3 or 4 years ago as we did with the Redmi Note 7 Pro, but overall for a 5G phone, Redmi has tried to offer a balanced spec sheet with this device. First, we get the new Dimensity 6100 plus 5G chipset, and then there's a smoother 90Hz screen and up to 256 gigs of internal storage. Okay, so let's get started with the unboxing. So first we have the phone. I have it in this green color variant, while you also get it in silver and black color options. Then we have the basics like a SIM card ejector, some paperwork, and the charger, which sadly is only a 10-watt brick, while the phone supports a total of 18 watts. Design-wise, the Redmi 13C looks very similar to the Redmi 12. It's got a very similar camera module placement and that boxy form factor as well. The only difference is the Redmi 12's back panel was made of glass, while the Redmi 13C comes with a plastic build instead. But that does not mean the Redmi 13C is not well built though. It is quite sturdy and there are no creaks or bends here, and for the price I like this clean, refined design, and splash resistance is also what you get here, which provides some peace of mind. It is, although, as I want to admit, a pretty huge device and not the most lightweight either, so it can feel a little uncomfortable to hold if you have small hands like me. Regardless, we do get a headphone jack here along with a dual 5G SIM slot with 12 5G bands as well as a dedicated micro SD card slot. There is also a fingerprint reader embedded in the power button, which works well. On the front, we have a 6.74 inches HD Plus IPS LCD 90Hz display on this phone, and even though it's just HD Plus, I found it to be sharp enough for everyday usage with no visible pixelation or anything like that. Color reproduction is also decent in the default vivid mode, but if you like looking at a more punchy screen, you can choose the saturated color option from the display settings. You also have wideband L1 certification here, so you can watch Netflix or Prime Video content in HD resolution. And since this is a 90Hz display, scrolling through the UI and all is very smooth, and impressively, in a budget phone like this, I did not notice any lags or stutters. But just like the Poco C65, which I unboxed a while back, here too when I tried to force 90Hz refresh rate in apps like Chrome, Facebook, and even Instagram, the phone refuses to do so, and those apps run at 60Hz instead. I mean, it does save the battery that way, but experience-wise, it's a little unpleasant. Nonetheless, this display is decently bright in outdoor conditions. I face no issues in visibility on cloudy days, but under direct sunlight, sometimes it might be hard to see the content on the screen. Okay, moving on, you get a single speaker setup on this device, and the output is not the loudest, but it's decent enough for casual content consumption. And good thing is that it does not distort in high volumes either. Alright, one of the major upgrades that Redmi has made this year is in terms of performance. The Dimensity 6100 Plus is a major upgrade over the Helio G85 that the Redmi 12C had. If I have to describe the performance of the Dimensity 6100 Plus, it's basically very similar to the popular Helio G99 with slightly boosted GPU performance. As a result, I got very stable gameplay on the Redmi 13C. The phone supports up to 40 FPS gameplay on PUBG in smooth graphics and ultra frame rate settings. There are a few stutters while playing in the setting, but if you want the best PUBG gameplay, I would recommend you set the graphics to smooth and frame rates to high, which will dial down the FPS to 30, but the gameplay is smoother and uninterrupted. Likewise, the phone can handle games like Call of Duty very well at 60 FPS. I even tried Mech Arena to see if the phone would hit 90 FPS, but I got around 60 FPS. However, the gameplay was smooth, so I will not complain. The Redmi 13C comes with MIUI 14 based on Android 13, and I like how Redmi has optimized the UI very well here. I do not face any lags or stutters while using this device. To be fair, I have the top-end 8 to 56 GB version of it, and the phone was able to handle multitasking with 4 to 5 apps just fine. But if you're getting the 4 GB variant, there might be some discrepancies in the overall fluidity. Okay, another good thing is that I haven't noticed any ads in the UI yet, although there are a ton of pre-installed apps which I would advise everyone to uninstall or turn off recommendations and notifications for a cleaner experience. Okay, now let's talk about the cameras, and you get a 50 megapixel main camera here whose performance is good enough for the price. You can get decent sharpness and color reproduction in the images during the day and even during low light conditions. Plus, you also get features like night mode here that work pretty well to maintain better exposure and details in low light pictures. I like its portraits too. The skin tone is natural enough and the overall image comes out pretty satisfactory. Sometimes it does struggle to maintain dynamic range in the background, but in suitable scenarios, you can get some nice portrait shots from it. Likewise, I would also like to give a special shout out to Redmi 13C's HDR capabilities. As you can see in these images, it works very well to maintain the highlights and shadows. Lastly, battery endurance is also not going to be a problem on the Redmi 13C. On a full charge, you should easily be able to get a full day of usage even with a heavy usage pattern. Charging is a little slower though with its default 10-watt charger. It takes around 2.5 hours for a complete refill. Overall, the Redmi 13C is definitely worth checking out if you want to enjoy 5G on a budget. It also has a nice design, a big screen, decent speed, and a battery that lasts very long. The camera is nothing mind-blowing here, but for the price, it's cool. However, I just checked the price of the Poco M6 Pro on Flipkart, and that thing is currently available for 12,000 rupees for the 128GB version. So if you pay like 1,000 rupees extra, you're going to get better performance with the Snapdragon 4 Gen 2, sharper Full HD display, and faster charging. So the Poco M6 Pro is of course a better value. But again, with the Redmi 13C, you're also getting some bank offers and rebates at launch, bringing down the price to just 1,000 rupees. So both of these phones are decent 5G options in my opinion. So everybody, that was all for my unboxing and full review of the budget Redmi 13C 5G. If you have any additional questions, just pin them down in the comments below. And while you're there, don't forget to subscribe. Saying this, I'm Pratima and thank you so much for watching.